Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast. This will be episode 9. And as you just heard Miggy mumbling to himself, we've got some numbers for you guys this week. The NHL is back in full swing. They've been playing since last Wednesday, so got a lot of updates for you guys on that, and I'll let Miggy break it down for you guys.
Yeah, so I want to start with the 3 games that we called out last week for the NHL. I'll give the results to that. So, Vegas in the LA game, first game for Panarin, came on and 2 points, 3 shots, and a plus and minus of 0. Looked good on the ice, was moving well, seemed to understand the kind of play that the Kings are going for. Now, they did go into the third period with a 2-1 lead, but the third was not a goalie game. 7 goals were scored in the third, which brought Vegas to actually bring it home for a astonishing 6-4 win.
I have that is a net collapse I haven't seen in a while.
Oh yeah. The Islander and Habs, my prediction was actually spot on, but for the wrong team, so that's kind of frustrating.
It's not opposite day. Get it right next time,
Yeah.
Miggy.
Dobson did come back to face the Islanders the first time since he got traded to Montreal and actually scored 2 goals, which tied his career high for a game. Islanders did win in overtime 4-3 against the Habs, so both teams did collectively get points. And Schaefer showed up with 3 points. At this rate, he probably win the Calder. It's his to lose. Now, the Wings and the Red Wings and the Canes faced off as well. Very important Eastern Conference battle. One that could either shake things up as tighter or maybe bring a little bit more separation towards the Atlantic Division. The Hurricanes won 5-2 against the Red Wings. It pushes Detroit into a wild card spot, as well as Tyler Hall and Shane Gottsensberg from the Hurricanes both got a 3-point performance. During the week, Schaefer scored his 20th goal, which is the first rookie this year to do it, and is the first time ever that a defenseman is the first rookie to score 20 goals in the year. Most goals by a defenseman rookie is 23 from 88 and 89 from Mr. Brian Leach. So that is a very...
If my calculations are correct, that is about 37 years ago.
Yeah, so a very big jump. Standings haven't changed much, as well as Minnesota, Avalanche, and Dallas is in the same situation. The Pacific is still the worst division, but hey, is what it is. I'm pretty sure that the Atlantic is as tight as we left it last episode. And this Metropolitan is getting some leeway between the top 4 and the bottom 4.
So a bit of separation.
Yeah. Now, I'm just going to jump over to the PWHL because we had a couple of games for that too. So the Fleet versus the Charge. The Fleet won 3-2 in shootouts.
This year, okay.
Ariane Frankel, which is their goalie, is insane this year. She has the second best save percentage of .945. The Montreal goalie is first with a .956.
Sorry, .945
Yep.
puts her in second.
Yep. With at least 5 games played.
Okay.
Then the Victoire against the Sirens was a 4-1 victory for Montreal. Pretty one-sided on that. It puts Siren in a little bit of a disadvantage against the Charge because those two are playing for positioning as well as the playoff contingency.
Yep.
Longborn and Stacy both got 2 points on the Montreal side. Now again, Montreal played Frost. Those were 2 top 3 teams. Montreal won in a staggering 4-0 win. So again, that Montreal goalie that has the .965. She has a shutout, Murphy and Skamura both had 2 points. And the standings as of last week was first is the Boston Fleet, second was the Minnesota Frost, and third was the Montreal Victoires. And now it stands as Montreal Victoires is now first, the Fleet is now second, and the Frost is now third. The standings below that did not change during last week.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Miggy. I'll give you guys the numbers for the NBA real quick. So just a reminder, some of the key games from last episode that I had mentioned were the OKC Detroit game, the Boston Denver game, Philadelphia and Miami, then Denver and OKC later this past week, San Antonio versus New York, and the New York Toronto game, which is a game that's more of a personal thing, but they are playing tonight. So just to run through this past week, on Wednesday, OKC and Detroit did play against each other. Detroit came out with a win with a 124-116 game. Now, for that game, both SGA and Jalen Williams were still out for OKC, so they were playing down quite a bit. Although one of OKC's other players, not to be confused with Jalen Williams, Jalen, but Jalen Williams, Jaylin, had 30 points and 11 rebounds in the loss. So he showed out. Duran for the Pistons had 29 points, 15 rebounds. Cade Cunningham had 29 points and 13 assists. So a dynamic young duo that has proven diligence for Detroit so far this season and likely for the next few years. The game ended with an 8-point spread, but OKC did get it to within 4 points with about 39 seconds left in the game and just ran out of steam. The next game I want to take a look at was Boston versus Denver. I was excited for this game. Boston did not show up, however. The final score was 103-84 for Denver. Now, the halftime score going into the half was 48-47 for Boston. Boston only scored 36 points in the second half of that game. They, in two quarters, in the second half of this game, they went from up 1 to down 19. Jokic ended the game with 30 points and 12 rebounds. On Thursday, a game that I wasn't expecting to be as entertaining or as close was the LA Lakers versus Phoenix Suns game. That game ended 113-110 for the Suns. Luka Doncic came out of the game with 41 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. The only reason LA was in that game was because of Doncic. A near 40-point triple-double. However, on the other side, Phoenix, a franchise season-high 22 three-pointers made that game. And Royce O'Neal with a game-winning three-pointer for the Suns with 0.9 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter. Really tight contested game. Essentially a buzzer beater. This past Friday, Cleveland versus Detroit. An OT thriller, also a three-point game. Detroit won 122-119. Now, here's the thing. Cleveland didn't have Harden or Donovan Mitchell. So they were playing shorthanded. However, their two big men, their front court, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, kept them in the game. They combined for 48 points and 21 rebounds between the two of them. For Detroit, same kind of scenario from the earlier OKC game. Duran with 33 points and 16 rebounds. Cade Cunningham with a near triple-double with 25 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Those two are going to be fun to watch. This game also came down to a last-second three-pointer to take the lead, although there's a bit more time. Harris for Detroit scored a three-pointer with 21 seconds left in the overtime frame to put them up. However, Cleveland did have a couple chances. Both Merrill and Mobley missed tying attempts with in those last 20 seconds. Moving on to a very, very interesting game, and a game that you and I are going to talk a bit about again later, Miggy. Denver versus OKC. Some of you may already know there were some antics in this game. OKC won 127-121 in OT. This was SGA's return game from injury. He had a stellar game, 36 points in 34 minutes, more than a point a minute. Great game from him. Jokic, a massive triple-double, 23 points, 17 rebounds, 14 assists. However, terribly inefficient shooting-wise. He shot 36% from the field, which was 9 for 25, and 20% from 3, 2 of 10. So a lot of missed opportunities, which you can't have in a close game like this. Jamal Murray showed out 39 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in a losing effort. He shot 7 of 13 from 3, which is 57%. But the big takeaway from this game, the brawls and some of the chippy play, and that we're gonna swing back around to this game a bit later in the podcast and just talk a bit about that. So do stay tuned for that. The next game I want to talk about is Miami-Philadelphia from this past Thursday. Philadelphia ended up winning 124-117. This was a game I said to watch because the teams were within a game of each other. However, Philadelphia having won that game, that put them a game and a half ahead of Miami, which is also where they currently sit in the standings. Adebayo for Miami had 29 points, 14 rebounds. Embiid had 26 points, 11 rebounds, and Tyrese Maxey had 28 points and 11 assists for Philadelphia. Philadelphia did, however, lead this game wire to wire. It was close, but Philadelphia was in the lead for the entire 48 minutes. This past Saturday, another interesting game, San Antonio versus New York. This game was a bit of a letdown. New York won 114-89. Wembanyama started this game. He's been coming off the bench recently, just coming back from injury and whatnot. He had 25 points, 13 rebounds on 47% shooting. Wasn't bad. New York, however, it was just a great team effort. Waves and waves of different attackers. New York had 20 more field goal attempts. They took 20 more shots that game. And that can be attributed to the combination of New York had 20 offensive rebounds and San Antonio had 22 turnovers. So San Antonio lost this game because they gave New York way too many chances. A game that kind of flew under the radar for me, but looking back, I probably should have picked up on. Minnesota versus Denver this past Saturday. Minnesota ended up winning 117-108. Jokic had 35 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Minnesota, however, shot 54% from the field and 39% from 3. And Miggy, you're gonna like what I'm about to say next. This game essentially swapped where Minnesota and Denver are in the playoffs, are in the standings position right now. So last episode at the time, Denver was top 3. They were behind San Antonio. They were kind of the front runner for that 3rd through 6th seed in the West.
Yep.
And Minnesota was sitting closer to that 6th, 5th seed, kind of closer to play-in. With last week, and especially with Minnesota beating Denver, Minnesota is currently 4th now, and Denver drops down to 5th in that kind of mini race we have here at the top of the Western standings. Some feel-good news that we'll talk a little bit more about later as well. Miggy, do you know about the orange wristband that Anthony Edwards wears? Do you know anything about that?
I think it has to do with one of his fans giving it to him, and then he said he'd never take it off.
Yeah. So the fan, his name's Luca. He was battling cancer. The kid beat it. The kid beat cancer this past week.
Nice.
So
Congrats to Luca.
Yeah, some feel-good news. So that's really nice to hear, especially in today's world. So yesterday, it's past Monday, Los Angeles Clippers versus Golden State Warriors. Clippers won 114-101. The Clippers were carried by their bench, 52 bench points. However, Golden State, something I do want to talk about right away here. Curry is still out with injury. Porzingis is still out with injury. So another team playing really, really shorthanded. And the last game I want to go over is a game that I expected to not even have to think twice about. I expected it to be a foregone conclusion. But Denver versus Utah from yesterday. Denver did end up winning 128 to 125.
That shouldn't have been a tight game.
No. It should have been an absolute slaughter. Utah nearly pulled off the upset, and had they done it, it would have been awful for Denver. Jamal Murray, 45 points, and history seems to repeat itself. It keeps putting Jamal Murray in these clutch situations where he has to hit three throws. He hit his three throws this time. His three throws gave Denver the lead. Jokic sealed it with another 2 3 throws later to give the 3-point lead. So that's all we have for NBA scores. Did you want to go over some of the NFL speculation real quick?
Yeah, so all I have for the NFL is their combine stocks going up and down. So I'll just name a couple of them, because if I go over the list of like 25 players who are going up and the 25 players who are going down, we'll be here till the next week.
Look, I like your voice and all. I can't listen to you for that long.
I might as well write an article at that point.
Yeah.
So, Skylar Bell is a right receiver. He clocked in on the NFL Combine for his vertical at 41 inches, his broad jump at 11 foot 1 inch, and his 40-yard dash at 4.4 seconds. He has been slowly climbing and could crack the top 100 due to his all-around athleticism that he's showing right now in the Combine. Taylon Green, the QB, his vertical is 43.5 inches. Broad jump of 11.2. Best since 2003 for a QB. His 40-yard dash is 4.36 seconds, which is second best since 2003. As well, he is slowly climbing up. Mike Washington Jr. was ranked 10th nationally, and he's still going upwards. This guy is insane. His 40-yard is 4.33 seconds. His vert is 39 inches. His broad jump is 10.8 inches. You want to know what's the crazy thing about that, Chris?
Hit me with it.
The guy is 6'1", 223 pounds.
6'1", 223.
Yeah.
You want to give me those combine numbers again?
His 40-yard was 4.33 seconds.
Okay.
His vertical was 39 inches. And his broad jump was 10 feet 8 inches.
39-inch vertical at 6'1", 230 is... That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So, with those numbers and how he's picking up right now, he should be taken in the day 2 of the draft rate. So, we'll see if he goes up or if he stays in the day 2. Now, the people who have kind of stalked downwards, I only have 2 major guys because those are the 2 more noticeable that I found. Malachi Fields, he's a wide receiver. He is 6'4.5" and 218 pounds, so tall and lean. His 40-yard dash was 4.61 seconds, and his vertical is 38 inches. He is dropping from being one of the first picked to late in the first round.
Okay.
Which doesn't seem to be a big difference, but could be a difference from being picked by, let's say, the New York Jets or the LA Rams to a team that's in the middle, to the team who's more in the contention, to a team who's not even in the contention, right? Mm-hmm. His on-field performance was a struggle as weight. He was late to spots on his routes, so he didn't show strong hands. He dropped a lot of possessions when it came to the gauntlet drill, so his on-field drill was also just a big struggle. Now, Cardinal Tate is a wide receiver. He has been marked as supposed to be the next big NFL receiver. So next Puka Nacua or GSN or Chase or
guys like
those guys. His 40-yard was a 4.53, average for his size. Might fall to mid to late first round now because he was figured to be picked in the top 5. He didn't partake on the infield drills. I couldn't find anything on that, which is kind of interesting. So when it comes to the pro day efforts, he'll need to put on his big boy pants and big boy gloves and try to impress the people as much as he can to try to build back his stocks.
Yeah, well.
But it all depends on now the teams, what they do with what they saw and what the scouting agencies will do. That is mostly all I have for the NFL, but I know you wanted to talk about something for the MLB.
Yes. So the MLB, the spring training's been going on for week and a half now. A couple of the biggest takeaways, or I guess the biggest takeaway, is the ABS system. There was a game this past Tuesday, Pirates versus Red Sox. And I kind of laughed when I first saw this because like I said last episode, I am a big supporter of the ABS. I think it's the right move. I think the MLB has managed to almost get the whole challenge system right the first time, whereas other leagues have had to try different iterations and whatnot. But in this Pirates vs. Red Sox game, there was, I think it was in the very beginning of the game, first inning, there was a spot where 5 straight pitches got overturned on ABS. Now, just so the umpire can save a bit of face, I will not name names. But 5 straight is impressive. And I want to talk about this a little bit more later. I kind of just want to give you guys the numbers for now. But 5 straight missed calls from the home plate umpire. And to go along with that, even the next pitch number 6 of this collective, was also challenged. But he got it right. So that's why we're only talking about the 5 straight, not 6 straight or 7 straight, or goodness knows how many times he might have missed it. But get back to that a bit later. Big news from the MLB, however. Profar, 162 game suspension for getting tested positive for his second case
in a year.
In a year for performance enhancing drugs.
Yep.
Some people just don't learn.
Yeah. Now to add on for your ABS challenge, so far the succession rate on overturning calls is at a 53 to 56%. So it's a 50-50.
50-50, which isn't great. However, I think it's about break time. We've gone through all of our hard numbers. We'll talk about bit more about some of these things after the break. So do stick around, do join us. But for our audience out there that just wants the scores, just wants the hard numbers, we'll give you your chance now. Welcome back, everybody, from break. If you're still here with us, we're glad to have you. Over to my right, I think Miggy's got some things he wants to say about the NHL coming up.
All right, so Chris, as you know, trade deadline is this Friday for the NHL. So there's a bunch of rumors, trades have been happening, a bunch of speculations, players to watch. So I'm kind of cover what we know as of now, and when it comes out on Friday, we'll see how it turns out. But it should be an interesting one. So I am gonna actually start with nothing that has to do with any of what I just said. Kings fired their head coach, Jim Hiller.
Okay. Oh, head coach firings are always fun.
This one kind of took me off guard because the Kings are not doing horrible. They're in a playoff contention right now. They just got Panarin. They're probably going to be looking for a second center as well as maybe a low-cost, high-productive winger due to the fact that Fiala is now gone for the rest of the season. So that came kind of a shocker to me. Now, Andrew Mangiapane was sent to the waivers by the Oilers. A lot of speculations was around him. Now he's in the waivers. He's a two-way forward. He is kind of speedy. He's kind of a pest, in my opinion. He gets in those tight area, gets those pucks. He excels in that area, honestly. But with all that, in my opinion, makes him a good penalty killer. His backtrack is pretty good, and his forecheck is all right. Could be slightly better, but it's pretty good. So if he doesn't clear the waivers, I am expecting teams like Seattle, Utah, and the Leafs that are trying to find maybe a mid-6 center or even winger. I know he's played a little bit of winger, but his most is center.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, now we'll get more into the rumors, the trades that have happened and everything. So I'm going to start with the official trades because those are the hard concrete numbers. Roman Schmidt, the defenseman from the Flyers, is being sent to the Wild for Boris Kachuk, who is a left winger. They both haven't played a lot of NHL, but I could see the Flyers maybe make him play right away, see what he's able to do, see if he fits. I've also seen other analysts kind of say the same thing, just to see what he's capable of. So that will be an interesting trade, or it could just, like you said multiple times, just players being moved by players. On top of that, we have... Hold on a minute here. Okay, so actually just today, we have Michael McCurran that got traded to Minnesota. Nashville received a second-round pick from 2028, so in...
Couple years.
2 years.
Yeah.
He's a power forward. Be pretty good in Minnesota, so he's probably going to be on the second or third line. Blackhawks and Oilers. Blackhawks received a second-round pick in the 2028. So it seems like second round 2028 is the way to go this year. In return, the Edmonton Oilers received Connor Murphy, who is a defenseman. He's only worth $4.4 million on the cap, but the Hawks are holding 50% of their salary, so therefore it only hits $2.2 million on the Edmonton cap space, which they are stretching thin. So that helps them out a little bit. That's pretty much all the trades. Now we get the nitty-gritty rumors here, rumors there, speculation, what I think, what other people think, what we know for sure. Is going to be a roller coaster. I do want to state, just as I find this kind of funny, Rangers fans will not. Rangers have not won at home for 99 days. So since their last win, and I'm hoping when on Thursday when this drops, it's not 101.
Yeah.
It's been 99 days since the Rangers home crowd has seen a win at home at the Madison Square Garden.
I mean, as a Canucks fan, it's funny. I think it's just funny, you know? Mutual suffering, if you will.
Well, then you won't like this, because as a Canucks fan, you have a lot of Canucks asking for trades or being speculated here. The Kings are apparently linked with Elias Pettersson as well as Patrick Laine. They're also DeBrusk asking for a trade in the upcoming week. So that means he'll be taking away his no movement clause. Hold on a minute. There's just all around, there's just a lot of things happening in the league. Defensemen are being looked at, so Ristolainen is being looked at by Montreal. Some have said that even the Maple Leafs are interested, as well as the Oilers, which the Oilers right now are looking for defensemen and probably goalies at the deadline, would be my speculation. To come back on that, the Trocheck is another big one that has been speculating. He wants to stay on the Eastern Conference. Right now, I have heard that reportedly there is now only 3 teams interested due to that statement, and that would be the Hurricanes, the Bruins, and the Red Wings. Now, the Bruins are in a wild card spot fighting for their lives right now. I wouldn't really say lives due to the fact that Capitals lost today against the Mammoths. They have now a 5 to 6 point difference between the Bruins and the Capitals. The Canes, they're on the top, so they just want to get better.
The Bruins are 4 points ahead of the Capitals right now. However, the Capitals have played 3 more games than the Bruins.
Okay.
So,
and the Wings are also in that really tight Atlantic battle, so anything can help them. Talking about the Red Wings, they are also looking into Robert Thomas, as well as a lot of teams, being Ducks, the Wild has been associated too somehow, as well as there's just so many teams that are interested in Robert Thomas. It's to see if he's actually going to get moved in the trade deadline, because he's such a big guy, and yet he's still at a young age.
I mean, that reminds me a lot of Giannis Antetokounmpo on the NBA side, because a lot of teams were interested in him. Everybody expected him to move, and he just didn't get traded this year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if Thomas actually does get moved, or if it's another case like that.
In Utah as well is interested in Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is to see. It's not clear if St. Louis actually wants to trade him.
Mm.
So we'll see what other teams offer St. Louis, and if St. Louis will bite the tail or not. You also have apparently Ekman Larsson's up for trade. I didn't find really any teams. I can probably suggest teams like Oilers need defensemen. I do not remember if Ekman Larsson is a right hand. If he is a right hand, then the Stars are probably looking for a right hand defenseman because they have an abundance of left-handed defensemen. Stamkos, big name. We've heard Stamkos for years. Apparently, the only teams that he wants to reportedly play for if he gets traded is Minnesota, Dallas, or going back to Tampa Bay. So he wants another Stanley Cup is basically what I hear from this.
I mean, at his age, I don't blame him. Like, he's not too far off retirement. He's made all the money that he'll ever need. Multiple times more.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for cup chasing.
Yeah.
If you want to put it that way.
Lots of teams are also interested in Kadri, but that has been also during the whole year kind of speculated that Kadri was being traded at the deadline. Montreal's in the mix. Ducks are in the mix. It's kind of the same people as Robert Thomas. But the Avalanche are also interested in Kadri, which is kind of funny because Kadri used to play for the Avalanche as well.
So a return.
Yeah. Bennington is linked to Edmonton. No surprise. Edmonton need a goalie. They thought that Jari was the fix, and he got injured a couple of times. He's injury prone, so maybe they want a more consistent and less injury prone goalie.
But is Bennington really the right choice for that? I mean, he is like he is the newspaper staple, like that, the front picture for underperforming goalies at the moment. Is that like...
Yeah, but then you look at the defensive core, and really after Falk, it's mostly a lot of young guys, and now they're out of the playoffs basically. So maybe he's just a little bit down on himself now that didn't have a hot start at the beginning of the season, and now we're not really making the playoffs. Maybe just a change of scenery will do good for him. But apparently, as well as Edmonton, Montreal is interested in him.
Huh.
So that could be interesting. As a Montreal fan, I don't really know what we'd give up. He might look for another goaltender. I don't really want to get rid of Dobesh. So I don't want to get rid of Fowler. So then that gives you Monty, and that's basically it. Bennington has 2 more years to his 2 more years to his contract. So that gives him enough time so that Fowler can get really ready to take over the net or be back up to Dubish, and Dubish start getting the more lead role because he's doing fantastic this year. He's like 19-3-2.
Stellar numbers.
Now the one I didn't mention it earlier, the DeBrusk asking for a trade. No surprise to you, Vancouver's probably going to sell a lot of their major guys in the trade deadline. They're probably going to go into a whole rebuild for the next 5 years. It's going to be a painful time for you.
It's not going to be pretty. I mean, most rebuilds aren't. But it's so odd the way that the Canucks have been kind of handling this rebuild situation. They haven't almost mentally committed to the rebuild. So I'm not sure if this is them, like, management deciding it's finally time for a rebuild, or if the players are forcing management's hand, because everybody's on the trading block. I think Demko's on the long-term injury list right now, so he might not be, but
I think the only person I've heard concrete that isn't on the trading block is Philip Hronek. So there's that.
I mean, yeah, the Canucks lost 6-1 to Dallas this past week and also 5-1 to Seattle. So it's probably just a sell, rebuild, and move on.
Yeah, that 6-1 loss is something, because I thought that Canucks, they have been putting up good fights lately. So for them to just out of nowhere lose 6-1, like, I understand it's the Stars and they're a powerhouse, but lately, even to powerhouses, they've been kind of given good fights and somewhat close games. So
it was a bit out of the blue, even for being team 32 out of 32. 6-1 is not great.
She hurts, bud. She hurts. Like I said, a lot will happen between now, which is March 3rd, and Friday the 6th. Whenever that happens, whatever happens there, we will go over after that who the winners are, who we feel the losers are.
We'll give our reactions.
Yeah.
A team that I heard you mention quite a lot is the Wild. Now, I've been looking at the standings really quick. They are currently 3rd in the West. Sorry, 5th. They're 5th in the West. They are 3 points behind the Stars, who are 2nd in the West. Oh, sorry, no. I'm looking on the wrong. They are 3rd in the West. They are 3 points behind the Stars for 2nd place. The Wild have already made the big Quinn Hughes move earlier this year. They've made a few more moves. Do you think the Wild keep making a few more moves here before the trade deadline, something big, or do you think they're kind of done and set to head into the playoffs here?
If I was the Wild right now, I would quit while I'm ahead.
Okay.
Right now, it's giving me the feeling that they just want more and more and more, and eventually they're going to make a trade they're going to regret. They're going to trade away someone they didn't want to trade originally, but they're like, hey, we got this star power stud that will bring us goals and everything, but you're not fully developed yet, so we don't know what you can do, so we're going to trade you. Right? Just ask the Sabre organization. They've been doing it for a while. They're under a new GM now, and they don't only seem to be doing better. They are doing better.
They're doing a lot better.
So
potentially first playoff berth in
like 17 years.
Yeah, almost 2 decades now.
18 years.
They currently sit at 3rd in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
Mind you, 3rd through 8th in the Eastern Conference is within 3 points.
Oh yeah.
So
it's going to be played till the last game. So we're going to have to keep track on that and make sure that everything is as well described as possible, because that Eastern Conference top 8 is insane.
Yeah.
Another thing I did want to talk about before we go is that Vegas and LA game. That start of the third, 2-1.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. We've seen a lot of games 2-1, 3-2, 3-3, 2-2, 1-1.
Pretty standard in the
modern
modern
one goal
NHL.
difference is not a big thing, but to have 7 goals in the third, and not only 7 but 5 of them being on one team, it's not like a 3-4 or
no. Well, we've seen high scoring games before. We've seen the 5-goal games, even the 7-goal games, like per team.
Yeah,
it's the 7 combined goals in one period.
Yeah,
that really stands out to me. Now, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if both teams' offense just turned it on, figured it out, or if both goalies just left the ice and it was 6-on-6 empty nets, you know?
So I watched the highlights a little bit because I watched the beginning 2 periods and then I was not able to keep my eyes open, so I went to bed. I was watching the highlights and it looked like it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Which is good, but at the same time bad because you want your offense to like spark up, score some goals, get the lead, defend the lead. Okay, we lost it, go back, kind of deal. But I saw 3 of those 7 goals being pretty easy to stop. So offense was there and the goalies were not, which resulted to 7 goals, 5 of them from Vegas.
Yeah, that's...
So, but they can't lose many more games like that, LA, due to the fact that they are either on the cusp or right in the playoff right now.
The Kings?
Yes.
They are currently out of a playoff spot. They're 4th in the Western wild card. So... They're out of playoff spot currently. They are... So the 2 wildcard spots in the West right now are Mammoth with 68 points and Oilers with 66.
And the Mammoths won today against the Capitals, so that'll help them. The Oilers are facing off Ottawa.
Yeah. The Sharks and the Kings and the Predators all sit just outside those wildcard spots, all 3 with 62 points.
Okay. I do also want to mention that I don't know how to say it, but I said it earlier. The Calder is Schaefer's to lose now. He is originally last podcast. I was like, it's still tight, Demi-Dove and everything. No. Kid has 20 goals. He's a defenseman. I mentioned it earlier. Brian Leach has the record since 88-89 of 23.
And that's just for all rookies.
For defensemen.
For defensemen.
For defensemen only. Because Teemu Salami did like fucking 70 goals that were rookie year. It's to see now there's still like 20 games. 3 goals in 20 games seems more than doable. He is a defenseman though, so we'll see if he's more assist now or if he's able to squeeze the goals in. Defenseman
goals by and large are pretty streaky.
Yeah.
Unless you've got, some of the greats. But
Makar, Rowensky.
I think he does it. I think he can.
If he does it, I feel like Calder's his.
Yeah.
No matter what the other 2, Demi-Dove or Seneki does, nothing will reach it.
Well, no, I mean, if you're setting records, usually you're getting the award. However, speaking about setting records and potentially not getting a rookie award, I do want to talk about Con Knippel.
Yep.
Who last episode and on the NBA specific episode from last week, I had mentioned he is very likely the future 3-point shooting in the NBA. He competed in the 3-point contest during the All-Star break. He is the second best rookie, although you could argue it. Him and Cooper Flagg are neck and neck. However, this past week, he set the rookie record for 3-pointers made in a single season. The previous record was 206. And this past week, he set the record with 207. Now, in the game that he set that record, he also tied the Hornets franchise single game 3-point record by an individual with 8 3-pointers. He set this record, the 207 3-pointers, the rookie record, in 59 games. Which means that if he were to play the full 82 game season, I'm not sure if he's missed any games or how many, but there is, at the very least, about 20 games left in the season, and he's already broken the record. So he can really pile on in this record, and I think the more he piles on, the more he makes his case for that Rookie of the Year race.
Okay.
Funny thing happened this past week. Trae Young. I told Jay this earlier. Trae Young, who got traded to the Wizards at the deadline, he is set to make his return soon, so he hasn't played any games for them yet. He somehow managed to get himself ejected from a game this past week.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. I don't remember where, but I saw it and I couldn't understand why.
No, well, because he, as a bench player, because he was in street clothes and whatnot, he was on the bench with the team. You cannot enter the court.
Oh.
So what happened was there was a play, it was called down, there was some bickering between players and whatnot, and for whatever reason he decided to approach one of the refs and took a few steps out onto the court.
Okay.
And again, whether you're like a bench player who isn't actively on the court or whatever, you cannot be doing that. It is an immediate ejection. That rule was put in place essentially to stop benches from clearing for fights and whatnot. Years and years and years ago, there was a college game where a fight broke out, and a lot of bench players from one team came out onto the court, and they all got thrown out. And that team had to play, I think, 4-on-5 for the last quarter of the game or something.
A lot of running.
Yeah. Actually, I think that was a game with Colin Sexton. Yeah, no, that was a big game. But yeah, no. So Trae Young's current stat line for his Washington Wizards tenure is 0 games played, 1 ejection, which is just an insane stat line to just look at. I'm not going to go into injuries too much today, but there are a couple I really want to point out. Steph Curry is still out.
Is there any update on him or any time back?
It's looking long term. Like not season ending necessarily, but there's a good chance he continues to miss the next few weeks. Pretty much no improvements on his condition. It's nothing.
And every game that he's out is not helping Golden State.
No, because
they're back to a playoff spot.
Golden State currently sits 8th in the West, so they're in that play-in right now. But behind them is the Clippers,
who are on a tear,
climbing. And then you've got teams like the Trailblazers and the Grizzlies and even the Mavericks, who are sort of those mid-tier teams really fighting for that spot. Both Curry out, it's really dangerous for their playoff spot. And Porzingis for Golden State as well. He got moved over to Golden State from Atlanta in that Porzingis-Kuminga trade.
Yeah.
Kuminga's been doing great for Atlanta, mind you. Porzingis has missed 5 straight games due to illness for the Golden State Warriors. So since he got traded, he's missed all 5 games that he could have potentially played in.
Okay.
So it's worrisome for Golden State right now, just because your 2 main guys are just out for an indefinite amount of time. So we'll have to keep up with Golden State on that right now. Speaking of standings, however, I sort of alluded to it earlier. There's been a bit of switching around at the top of the Western Conference. Rockets, Timberwolves, Nuggets have been shifting. I think last week the Nuggets were in 3rd, the Rockets were 4th, Timberwolves were 5th. but now the Nugs have dropped down to 5th, and the Rockets and T-Wolves have both moved up those spots. Oh yeah, you as a Minnesota fan, you're so upset.
What a travesty.
The Clippers, on their historical run so far, are only a game and a half away from the Warriors for that 8th seed. But that's kind of where it breaks up, because between the Warriors and the 7th place Suns is three and a half games. So there's a pretty big split there. So in the middle of the Western Conference, it's there's not going to be a whole lot of moving this next week, but seeds 3 through 6 in the West are within 2 games. Sort of between 3 and 4, it's half a game. 4 and 5, it's half a game. 5 and 6, it's half a game.
I just want to state.
No, sorry, it's a game. But yeah, go ahead.
I just want to state. We all heard my hot take last week
about the Bulls.
They've gone up a position. Just saying.
Yeah, the Bulls are only 5.5 games out of a play-in spot. Not playoff spot, play-in spot.
It's actually 7.
Is it 7? No, it's 5.5.
Well, no, is it the top 8 teams?
No, it's the top 10. Top 10. Oh. Top 6 teams is
They got way more of a chance now.
So for any of those out there like Miggy who don't quite know the NBA playoff structure, top 6 teams in each conference have guaranteed playoff spots. Seeds 7 through 10 enter what's called the play-in tournament, which is essentially just, hey, you're the sort of like middle fighting teams of the league. We will give you guys an extra couple games to decide who gets those last couple playoff spots. So currently, the Atlanta Hawks are sitting in 10th, and the Bulls are sitting in 12th. The Bulls are 5.5 games behind the Hawks for that 10th seed. The Eastern Conference, in terms of overall seeding, is extremely stable. I would not be surprised if by the end of the regular season, if the Eastern Conference seeds looked exactly like they do today, I would not be shocked. Pistons are the consensus number 1 team in the East. Celtics are pretty much the consensus number 2. Knicks and Cavs are kind of fighting for that 3-4 spot. The Knicks are currently a game and a half ahead of the Cavs, even though a week ago when they did play, they had, after the game, since the Cavs won, they had the exact same record. The Knicks have pulled away a bit in the last week. The Raptors are sitting a little further behind in that 5th seed. The Sixers are bordering on that play-in spot, with seeing as they're the 6th seed and they're getting pretty close to demoting into the play-ins. The play-in teams, the Magic, the Heat, the Hornets, and Hawks, those have been the 4 teams that have kind of sat in the play-ins all year, kind of been there. And 11 through 15, we've known since pretty much the beginning of the season that they'd be at the bottom. So the Eastern standings are extremely stable right now. Don't be surprised if the West gets shaken up a little bit. Now, before we move on to some of our hometown teams, there is some big news from this past week. That Miggy, I think you'll have fun with this. OKC Denver.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this beforehand, and I asked you if we were going to cover this, and you were like, "There is no way I'm not covering this."
Not only was this a tightly contested game, Shea's return, we nearly had a reenactment of the Malice at the Palace, which, for those of you who don't know, is a big NBA brawl that happened years and years and years ago in a game between the Pacers and Pistons, and it all centered around a guy named Ron Artest. But anyways, in this Denver OKC game from this past week, it was a chippy game. Chippy.
Outright. I asked you because I saw one video of a scuffle between SGA and Joker. And I asked you, are we covering this scuffle? And you asked me, which one? I didn't know how to answer it because I only thought there was one.
So this game was chippy. Lots of fouls and non-fouls and players complaining. I mean, I do not envy the refs. Those were some high pride, high ego players going at it. So yes, there was that first scuffle, which started because...
Let me just cut you off for a second.
Yeah,
I know I don't usually do this, but those refs, I hope they had a beer after that game.
Ooh, some beer and some Bandera bread.
Either that or they went for the real, right to the rum.
The good stuff, the hard stuff. So that first major scuffle, which was actually the smaller of the two, funny enough. That scuffle started because SGA, he was driving the ball, he went up for a shot, he kind of did his trademark, tried to draw a foul on Jokic, and Jokic sort of poked the ball away, but then kind of put in a second swipe, if you look at the replay. And I don't quite remember what the exact call was, but both players started complaining to the same ref about their sides of what just happened.
And these aren't like little players that make little money here.
No.
We're talking about superstars, big names, like even non-basketball watching people like me and Jay know these guys.
No. These are the guys in the league. They are the two MVP front runners. So you've got these guys going at it. I think what ended up happening was it was a no call and the ball went out of bounds. But then both of them started complaining to the ref and there were texts handed out and whatnot. And then a bit of pushing and shoving because other players saw both players kind of getting close to the ref and bumping into each other, and that just escalated. The big one, though, later on in the game, after a Denver Nuggets basket, Jokic was running back on defense, and an OKC player by the name of Lou Dort. If you look at the replay, it was obviously very intentional. And as a fellow Canadian, I do not condone... Well, I do condone... As a fellow Canadian, I hate that this is the kind of player that Lou Dort is sort of becoming. He's kind of becoming one of those villains. Mind you, the Canada already has Dylan Brooks. But if you look at the replay, Lou Dort is kind of getting ready to sort of like maybe get a pass or whatnot and go up. He sees Jokic sort of out of the corner of his eye running by, about to run by. He intentionally takes a step back and he sticks his hip out and essentially hip checks Jokic.
Which I'm guessing in the NBA is a big no-no.
Oh, it's an immediate flagrant. At least that's all it would be if it was any other player than Jokic. Now, it was definitely a flagrant. The issue is that Dort picked the wrong guy to do this on, because Jokic is not only a great player and a big dude.
He is a big dude.
He's a big dude, but he does not take disrespect lightly. He got hip checked, fell down. He got up so quick, I thought he was about to just strangle Lou Dort. And he probably would have if people didn't get in the way. It was so bad that if you look at the replays of the scuffle that happened, there are moments where the nickname of the Joker are picturesque. The way that Jokic grinned as he tried to push his way through to the OKC players after that play, it gives you goosebumps. So that this Denver OKC rivalry there's a lot of animosity. There is hate. You know, this is beyond just competition at this point. So if we see these two teams face off against each other in the playoffs, that entire series, it was much must watch already. it is even more so now.
Now it's almost bring your snacks for a boxing match watch.
Yeah, no, there weren't any ejections because players got in the way quick enough that there weren't any like punches thrown or anything. But Jokic looked like he was about to take a man's life. So, again, even just beyond the brawls, it was a scrappy game as is. But if anybody out there hasn't seen the videos of the two scuffles, I would highly suggest it, because it makes you forget that they were playing basketball. Like there was genuine there was genuine hate and rivalry. So moving on though, before we talk a bit about our hometown teams, I did want to go over a few games to watch in the NBA this coming week. One of the games is OKC versus New York. That is happening tomorrow on Wednesday. That is just top of the Western Conference going against top 3 in the East. The New York Knicks. This game probably means more to the New York Knicks because they really need to. They really want as many wins as they can to fight for that second.
Well, they just got to win tonight as well. So
yeah, they beat the Raptors tonight, which unfortunate, but regardless. Detroit, San Antonio on Thursday. That, again, is just sort of a top versus top clash. San Antonio is looking for every win they can get to climb closer and closer to OKC for the top of the West right now. Detroit, however, has the best record in the league. And they are a young team, feisty team. Like I said, the duo of Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. That team does not want you to win. They will take every game, and they will play every game like it's their last. So, I'm also especially excited about the game because it's Cade Cunningham against Wembanyama. So those two current and going forward, probably for the next decade, faces of the league. So that game might actually just be a bit of a snapshot into the future. Also on Thursday, a fun game for us Triple Threat podcast boys. Toronto versus Minnesota. That is the game itself doesn't necessarily have any strict standings implications or anything, but it's a household pride game, if you will. So
we'll find something to bet with. We're not big bettors, but we'll find something. Yeah. Loser will do dishes or something.
Dishes? I already do those. On Thursdays, also Lakers versus Denver, with Denver having fallen to the 5th seed now. The Lakers sit in the 6th seed, so those two teams, by the time that game comes around, that game might swap their positions in the standings.
So basically what you're saying is Denver is on a win everything they can mode right now.
Denver has been win here, lose there, which is really strange for a team as good as they are.
And which put them in a spot where now every single game is either you get a guaranteed spot or you're in the play-in.
Yeah. Every win keeps you in your current spot and gives you a chance at getting a higher seed depending on those teams, but every loss sends you down.
Yep.
This coming Friday, we have a game for Miami against Charlotte. Now, it's not two top teams. This game for just fans of basketball and fans of Miami and Charlotte is a bit important because they are the 8th and 9th seed in the East. Those are the two middle teams in that sort of play-in spot. So that game will kind of decide that. New York versus Denver is on Friday. That's just top of the East, top of the West again. Another must-win game for Denver. LA Clippers versus San Antonio Spurs on Friday is, for it being a 2nd seed versus 9th seed, is a very interesting game. Because again, the Clippers are on the up and up. Their bench has been playing well. Kawhi's been playing well. San Antonio is just looking for wins. So you've got two teams who are desperate for wins. On Saturday, we have a game of Philadelphia versus the Hawks. That is just that is an important game for both teams, but for slightly different reasons. Philadelphia needs to scrounge up as many wins as they can to avoid being in the play-in. The Hawks need to scrounge up as many wins as they can to stay in the play-in. So that is important for both teams. Boston versus Cleveland, that is a 2 versus 4 bout in the East. Houston versus San Antonio, that is a 2 versus 3 bout in the West. Now, mind you, currently the Spurs are 5 games ahead of the Rockets. So, standings implications-wise, that game will not be huge, but it is 2nd versus 3rd seed in the West, so it should be an entertaining game. That is a game I would highly recommend that anybody out there watch. Next, Monday, Denver versus OKC. The post-brawl rematch. Look for that game to be explosive in more ways than just scoring. And lastly, on Tuesday, Minnesota Timberwolves versus the LA Lakers. Those are two teams in that 3 through 6 spot in the West that I mentioned earlier that are all currently within 2 games. That is a very important game for both those teams. And again, for the Nuggets, since all 3 of those teams are 4, 5, 6 in the West. That about does it for my look ahead into this next week. So I'll give it off to Miggy for some of our hometown teams, hometown sports.
I'm actually going to go for the go-aheads for the hockey.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
I'm going to go with the PWHL. Now, the PWHL doesn't have as many games as the NHL. So this coming week, I feel like there's only one game that is either much wash or a very important for the standings. It is the Sunday game. It's Charge versus Sirens. It is what's considered kind of a 4-point game. Now, for people who don't have points in their leagues, a 4-point game is basically when you are either tied or 2 points behind, 1 point behind, whatever. If you play against that person, so I think right now the Sirens are on top of the Charge. So let's say the Sirens have 3 points, the Charge have 1. If the Sirens win, they go to 5 points, and then the Charge will go, let's say, to 1, right?
We'll say 1.
Yeah. So now you need to win 2 more games. Actually, for them, it's 3 points, so it'd be technically 6-point game, really.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept. You need to win 2 more games to catch up to them and hope that they don't win at all, right? But yeah, so we call those 4-point games in the NHL because it's 2 for a win, and the PWHL would be 6-point games. Yeah. But that game is important for the Charge because they are charging their way back to the playoffs.
I hope the mic picks up how much I just cringed at your words.
I know, right? Little dad joke for it right there.
Yeah, you're getting old, bud.
Yeah. I go to sleep early, too.
Miggy falls asleep in the 3rd period of a hockey game, and he calls himself a hockey fan? I don't believe it.
It wasn't even late, too. It was like 8:30. Anyways, now for the NHL, we did have one tonight.
Yep.
Mammoths versus the Caps. They're both fighting on their respective conferences for a wild card spot. I will say, Mammoths won tonight, which actually I think puts them in the top 3 in their division, although I do not think so. I think they're in the Central, and that Central division is stacked.
The Mammoth...
So...
Ooh, okay. So the Mammoth are 4th in the Central division, which isn't bad. However, the Wild are 3rd in the Central division and are 12 points ahead of the Mammoth.
Yeah, so the Mammoths right now are in a must-win to try to secure the first wild card spot. Yeah. If I am not mistaken. So
the Mammoth currently have the first wildcard spot with 68 points. Then it's the Oilers with 66. We already kind of mentioned this earlier.
Yeah. And then we have the Avs and the Stars. They're top of the Central. Stars might want to win this one to try to get closer to the Avs and maybe overcoming, because the Avs started off strong. Like, Avalanche was like, me and you were complaining about how they weren't losing. But recently, they've kind of come down to earth.
They've cooled off a bit.
Yeah. So we'll see.
The Avs finally have double-digit losses in one of the loss columns.
Yeah, so you were wrong.
I was wrong. I called that they'd hit double-digit overtime losses before regulation.
And on top of that, the placement in that Central is so important because it kind of depicts the difficulty of opponent you're going to get in your playoff, because the West does have some of the best teams, but they also do have some of the worst. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling you, the Knights go into the Atlantic and they're 5th. Yep. Montreal goes into the Pacific and they're 1st with like 3 points extra.
Yep.
So it is a very lopsided conference, that Western Conference.
Very top heavy.
Saturday, March 7th, the Caps are playing against the Bruins. Eastern Conference wildcard battle. It's going to be a must-win for the Caps because the Bruins right now are looking in.
The Bruins currently hold the 2nd wildcard spot.
Yep. And I think they're at like 70-something. Or
the Bruins are at 73 points. The Capitals sit 4 points behind them at 69 points.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting one. Oilers and Knights, they're the Pacific leaders. We were just saying how the Pacific... Like, yes, they have Pacific leaders, but in other divisions, they're really not the leaders. Mm-hmm. So that division, if they're able to get whatever they're able to get, is what it is. They'll get into the playoffs, probably get swept, whatever.
Get in the playoffs just to go home right after.
Yeah, so they're the Pacific leaders. That has a 4 to 6 point difference, nothing big, manageable. So those are the 4 games that I have for the NHL for next week.
All right. So, now, properly onto our hometown teams. Miggy can give you more of the numbers, but the Saskatoon Blades did clinch a playoff berth this last week. So, congrats to them.
Yeah, so they clinched with a 5-3 win against the V's from Penticton. I'm deeply sorry if I butchered that. I might have, but...
No, I think you got it.
And then proceeded to lose 2. So we lost against Prince George Cougars, and then we proceeded to lose 6-3 against Regina Pats. Now, we do have some upcoming games. We only have 2 this week. So Wednesday, March 4th, Red Deer is playing here in Saskatoon. And Friday, March 6th, Moose Jaw is also playing in Saskatoon. So those are 2 games that will mean quite a bit for us to try to stay in that middle of the pack area.
Well, I mean, the Blades, they're in the playoffs.
Yep.
They're in the playoffs, but if they're looking to climb, yeah.
So, as well as that, after that, the Blades don't have a game for 7 games after 7 days after that. So,
bit of a break.
Kind of a week off, kind of regroup and everything. Now, Rush was kind of disappointing for me this week.
Oh.
We were playing bottom 5 teams and we lost both. Now, mind you, we're on overtime, so it's not too bad, but it's still tough losses. Brings our record from 10-1 to 10-3. Now, we don't have any games in week 15, which is this week coming up. There are 7 more weeks left in the season. We have 5 games left. Mm-hmm. We need to win as much as we can because that Colorado team is catching up to us. They're 9-3, I think.
Yeah, so only a game back.
Yeah, but they have a game this week.
Okay.
So depending on how that goes, everyone matters.
Yeah.
For the playoff position, we want to stay number 1 to get the easier opponent, but we are most likely in the playoff.
I think with their current actually no, it's hard to but I think they're pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But you're right, losing to 2 bottom 5 teams is kind of unacceptable. Like those are the games you're supposed to be winning.
Yeah. So
hopefully they bring it back and here to close the season, but yeah. Again, as for the Mamba, their season does not start for another 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Well,
so I hope the Mamba, or the used to be known as Rattlers, were fairly successful in their previous seasons and whatnot. So we'll see what they do this year. I'm not sure what the roster is quite shaping out to be like. And the CEBL, I don't think there have been any major changes to rules or anything like that. It is still kind of an experimental league these days, but we'll see what happens. We'll check again in 2 months. But that about does it for our hometown teams. We've gone through all we've got for our North American sports, which means we get to leave you guys with Jay for the next little bit.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Jay. Now, it's not like last episode. We're not recording that late. So this is before or after dark. So I will be civil.
You get pre-dark, Jay, this time.
We'll start us off with the English Premier League. Last 2 days have been quite a bit of a surprise recently, as Wolves, the 20th place team, facing relegation, just beat the 4th and 5th place teams.
How do you let that happen?
Upset.
Liverpool and Aston Villa. Y'all really needed to win those games to secure the group stage qualifiers for the UEFA Champions League. Now, Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool won 5-2. I wonder where that fire was against the Wolves. Everton versus Newcastle 3-2. Manchester United versus Crystal Palace 2-1. And Arsenal versus Chelsea 2-1. Now, Arsenal leading the league, all but qualified for the UEFA Champions League, being what is it? For a total of 16 points ahead of Liverpool, meaning that if Arsenal draw the next 7 matches left in the league and Liverpool win the next 7 matches left in the league, Arsenal still clinches the first place.
Huh.
So they're not leaving that first place at all.
They're not leaving that first place unless Manchester City decides to do a miracle run.
And I'm guessing you don't see that happening.
Not with this roster.
Well, we've seen, 2-3 upsets in the last week. What's a slightly extended miracle to end the year?
Extended miracle? That's life support.
That is it for the soccer news or football news this episode. To cricket. Semifinals are happening tomorrow and the day after. South Africa versus New Zealand, India versus England.
All right, I just want to know, who are you guys' favorites in this right now?
I mean, you don't even have to ask us that. The favorites are India, South Africa.
Well, yeah, but which one do you guys want to win?
India.
South Africa.
Yeah, this is gonna have another household problem.
New Zealand versus South Africa is going to be 7:30 a.m. CST.
Dude, I got half my day done by then. 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Damn.
The players to watch out for this match are Tim. I'm not going to pronounce his last name, from New Zealand.
Oh, that's a very interesting last name. Sorry, what's his last name again? I'm not going to pronounce his last name. Damn. Imagine filling that out in a form.
In 10 matches, averaging 36.88 runs per game, with a strike rate of 157. And another batsman for Team New Zealand, Finn Allen, in 8 matches, averaging 44.83 runs, with 182 of a strike rate. Now for the bowlers for New Zealand, Rachin Ravindra, 5 matches, 9 wickets with an economy of 6.77 runs per over.
Okay.
Matt Henry, 8 matches, 9 wickets, 8 economy per over. And on the South Africa side, Aiden Markram, 10 matches, 371 runs with an average of 53 per match.
Ooh.
He's averaging a half century per match.
Those are some big numbers.
Yup.
Ryan Rickleton from South Africa, he also is averaging a half century per match in 10 matches.
Half century in T20 is diabolical.
Right? He is 360 runs in 10 matches, averaging 51.43.
I mean, half centuries you usually don't see until the one-day internationals.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're batting that in a World Cup
on average
is no
meaning their higher end games are ridiculous.
No wonder.
The bowlers on the South Africa side, Lungin. I'm just gonna ask the token South African to pronounce this.
Why would you give it to me?
The third one there.
Ngidi.
7 matches, 13 wickets with an economy of 7. And Corbin Bosch, 8 matches, 13 wickets with an economy of 7. These 8 players are carrying their teams, so we need to look out for them. Now, the head-to-head between these two teams. New Zealand has the upper hand there.
Oh, okay.
New Zealand in the last 5 matches versus South Africa has been winning 3-2.
Okay, so still close.
Still close, but New Zealand has the upper hand.
Interesting.
South Africa's kryptonite.
Honestly, maybe. Because, I mean, the South African cricket team has been at the top for years. So to hear that they've got a losing record against anybody is abnormal.
Now, moving on to our next matchup, India versus England. A rivalry lasting 300 years.
That is... I think you're underestimating that number a little bit.
India coming into this with a 2-game win streak, and England coming into this with a 5-game win streak. The players to watch for this match are Suryakumar Yadav from India in 10 matches with 359 runs, averaging 44.88.
Yeah.
Ishan Kishan, 9 matches, 355 runs, averaging 39.44. One key difference between these two. Ishan Kishan may be averaging less than Suryakumar Yadav, but his strike rate is 50 above Suryakumar's.
Jeez. Meaning,
when Ishan Kishan plays, he plays.
Yeah, he's there.
On the bowler side for India, Arshdeep Singh, 8 matches, 15 wickets with an economy of 8.5. So he does give away runs, but he...
Yeah, I'm almost averaging 2 wickets a game for an individual bowler is pretty good. 8.5 in over, though, is a little much.
It's a little much on the spinner side.
Yeah, especially.
But he does grab those wickets.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Jasprit Bumrah, 9 matches, 13 wickets, but with an economy of 7.4.
That's still a little high.
For a fast bowler? That's on the lower end.
Oh, okay, if he's a fast bowler, yeah, I suppose.
Now, for the England side, Harry Brook, 10 matches, 284 runs with an average of 31.5.
Okay.
And Sam Curran, now, he's got a big mouth, this one. In 10 matches, 228 runs, averaging 32. He, on a recent interview, said that he wanted to back England to play the perfect game and silence the Wankhede crowd, as it is on home turf for India.
I mean, professional athletes do need their confidence, but it always bites people in the ass when they claim victories a little too soon. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if India comes out and takes that comment to heart.
and start swinging.
Yeah.
Adil Rashid on the bowler side for England. 10 matches, 16 wickets with an economy of 7.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
And Liam Dawson, 10 matches, 14 wickets with an economy of 7.3.
Okay.
So, team structure differences. India's batsmen, they score runs. India's bowlers, they give runs, but they take wickets. English batsmen, they don't set a high record, but they're bowlers.
Yeah.
Those are the deadly ones. Now, the head-to-head between these two teams for their past 5 matches. India is taking the lead with 4-1.
Okay.
So England has something to prove, and India just keeps dominating.
I'm going to say, England is coming in a bit sour after that last game as India won by 150 runs.
England's also on the 5-game win streak right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That match of 150 run difference. The target, so India had batted first, 247 runs, 9 wickets, 20 overs. England was all out on the 11th over. Under 100.
Yeah.
So they are coming in a bit sour and looking for vengeance.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if England comes out with something to prove. They're riding hot and they've got a reason to play.
Now, moving on to esports. I've got some words.
As long as you say them in English.
Last episode, I said, if BFX beat DK and go to meet Gen G in the finals, I'll crash out.
Here comes the crash out.
Diablo, you bastard! Even Abby agrees.
Even the dog agrees.
Absolutely blowing down one out of the park with a 3-0.
I was expecting 4 games. 5 games, hopefully. I mean, most of the casters were expecting that, too. I think
the predictions were 3-2 down one.
Well, the predictions were, I think there were 14 predictions, and it was all 3-2s, 3-1s, and it was 7-7 for who thought VRX would win, who thought DK would win.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be close. It was supposed to be a good watch.
Nope. That match ended within 2 hours.
Jay, you and I played a league game last night that was almost longer than that full series was.
Yes.
I know. I was sleeping.
Now, Gen G did blow BFX out in the finals with another 3-0, taking the championship. Now, for the other side of the world, G2 versus KC for the LEC finals. G2 take the match 3-2 in a silver scrapes. Now, G2's Twitter account has been a bit active about that match, essentially stating KC's records for this LEC versus: 8 best of ones won, 1 LR eliminated, 1 almost a reverse sweep, and 0 championships.
Them's fighting words.
Now, in America, Lion versus C9. An underdog story for Lion and their top laner Dokla. Dokla did not have a team 2 years in a row where he would come in as a sub and then outperform everyone in the league.
The thing about Dokla is that 2 years ago, he was searching for a home. Not just a home team. No.
His house. He was homeless.
And he's been a difference maker on 2 teams.
2 separate teams, 2 separate rosters, 2 separate ages for those rosters. As this Lion roster is a roster full of veterans with Inspired in the jungle and Berserker in the ADC role.
Yeah.
And the 100 Thieves roster last year that he was playing on, full of just rookies, where he was the most experienced player on that team. And 100 Thieves performed in their last year. And Lyon make a lower bracket run this year, taking the championship 3-1 from C9.
They earned it. They earned it. I mean, the LCS is not it shouldn't be a T1 league, but regardless, Lions earned it. Dokla earned it, I think.
Now, in China, Anyone's Legend versus Invictus Gaming. IG.
Oh. IG's making a comeback.
No.
No?
3-1 for AL.
Never
knocking
mind.
IG out.
Never mind.
People's elbow.
People's elbow.
And another match, Weibo Gaming versus Top Esports.
Yeah.
Weibo went taking the series 3-2 in Silver Scrapes.
Oh.
Now, upcoming matches for the LPL, as those are the only playoffs that are left before first stand the international tournament. Bilibili Gaming versus JDG.
I'm pretty sure Billy just wins that.
You'd think
Right?
so.
Like, they just win 3-1.
You'd think so. But Hong Q.
Is JDG having a resurgence this year?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That mid laner from the APAC region is doing wonders in the Chinese.
Are you expecting a Silver Scrape series?
Yeah, between BLG and JDG, both titans in their own leagues.
No, okay.
AL versus Weibo, though. I believe this will be a blowout.
Yeah.
AL is taking that series. 3-1 or 3-0.
Yeah. I honestly, I'd be surprised if it even goes to 4 games.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a 3-0.
Yeah. Now, there's only going to be 8 teams at this upcoming international tournament for League of Legends.
For the first standard.
For the first stand tournament. 2 teams from Korea. So, Genji and fucking FearX. I tried not swearing, but FearX.
T1 imposters.
And 2 teams from China. Hopefully BLG and JDG.
Well, most likely, yeah.
1 team from LEC, G2. 1 team from LCS, Lions. 1 team from CB LOL, Loud. And 1 team from APAC.
Look for Loud to make some noise.
1 team from APAC, TSW. Team Secret Whales.
Oh, Secret Whales, gotcha.
So, those are our upcoming matchups. For F1, minimum weight limit was decreased for the cars from 800 kilograms to 768 kilograms.
That's a big difference.
That is a difference, yes. That is...
We're talking like 200, 300 pounds.
No, that is quite... from 800 kilograms to 768, so that is about...
Never mind, I heard 668.
Oh.
I was like, bro.
No, that is about a 70-pound difference.
Yeah.
I mean, still 7 pounds.
It's still 70 pounds that you have to lose.
Yeah.
Now-
I heard 600. I was like, no, it's done.
Now, to help the teams out with that, the distance between the front and back rear axles is reduced by 20 centimeters, making the cars quite short.
That's almost a foot.
Yeah.
That
is 2/3 of a foot.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
8 and a bit.
Yeah.
Almost 9.
Almost 9 inches.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So, are we just going to have stubby-nosed F1 cars?
Well, these cars are also 10 centimeters skinnier.
So, like, they shorten it on the length and shorten it on the width.
Yeah,
so
the
they
car
look
is-
the same, but they're smaller.
They're smaller. The drivers are describing them as like go-karts.
I was just about to say that.
so they shrunk them proportionally.
Yeah.
So you're putting grown men in go-kart models of F1 cars.
Yeah. With less power, by the way.
Yeah, just less of everything. Mind you, the drivers aren't getting any smaller.
No. As well as the electric motors on the cars do give it a bit of a torque Like, the acceleration is faster than the normal combustion engine.
Usually, yeah. It's just the
top
power.
speed.
Yeah.
Top speed is lower.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
It's gonna be interesting to see when the F1 cars don't purr in the corners.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm interested now with the electric engines and the extra acceleration is just. With the added torque is the fact that the start of every race is already chaotic enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to tell me that you're going to give these guys more space to work with, but more
Acceleration
in that first stretch before that turn.
Yeah.
Which means that
more than likely, more collisions.
That's what I'm saying, because they're going to have more power and they're going to have this feeling of having more room, but then they're going to, I know they're professional drivers, but they're going to overestimate it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a
this
is an injury risk.
This start of the season is going to be quite the watch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we end off, as Jay was going through the F1 and the league and all that, Miggy was showing me his notebook, and I moved on too quick. So, Miggy, I think you had a bit more to add. Just going to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, Chris gets a little excited at times. So
a little?
The NBA and the NHL are pretty much the ones that are main right now. There is just want to cover the WBC brackets for the World Baseball Classic. So Pool A is Puerto Rico, Cuba, Panama, Colombia, and Canada. Pool B is the USA, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, Brazil. Pool C is Japan, Australia, Korea, Czechia, and the Chinese Taipei. Taipei. Pool D is Venezuela, Dominican Republic, the Netherlands, Israel, and Nicaragua. I had to practice that one, man. As you guys are going to learn, I have troubles with some words. I stutter a lot, so bear with me. The other thing that he did also kind of skipped on me for is the free agency. I just want to make a couple of notes on the NFL side. Pickens got the franchise tag. So did Bryce Hall and Kyle Pitts. Nothing on Mike Evans. Shaheed from Seattle as well. No news. Walker is reportedly hitting the free agency. The Seattle Seahawks have reportedly said that they will not be signing the Super Bowl MVP again, which I know for Chris is kind of a shocker because he really liked Walker.
I just don't know who they replace him with.
They're either going to keep with Charbonnet because he was injured. That's why Walker had this opportunity, or they're going to draft somebody.
Yeah, I suppose.
Just for people who don't know, a franchise tag and the transition tag is different. Franchise tag offers a higher pay, draft compensation if a player leaves. So, and then a transition tag is cheaper. You don't really get a draft compensation. And if ever a team makes an offer on your guy, you are allowed to match or better that offer. So that kind of clears it up for most of you guys. As well as the big thing that we learned today was that the Cardinals also released Kyle Murray, their QB, for the last, I think, 2, 3, 4 years.
It's been a few years now.
Yeah. So now they'll have Brissett and Slovis.
Unless they draft something.
Unless they draft a QB. So we'll have to stay put on that draft class and see if the Arizona Cardinal will be drafting QB. But they were the only one in their division with an awful record. So it is to be seen. Now, also, while Jay was talking about his international stuff and the esports stuff, I was looking to my hockey, and For people who remember, me and Chris were talking about the Canucks losing to the Stars 6-1. While after the second period, the Stars were spanking Calgary 6-1. So there's still currently a full period left where the Stars could increase damage and make Chris feel a little better about losing 6-1. So
Look, I'm a big Canucks fan, but I'm also a big supporter of having all the Canadian teams be successful. So even seeing the Flames get spanked like this, being at the bottom of the league, is painful. Or maybe the Stars just have their number.
Hey man, the Stars are a powerhouse. So we'll see how she goes. And like I told you, the only weakness I see is they need another right-handed defenseman.
Yeah. All right. Well, unless I've missed something else again, I think that just about wraps up today's episode. Jay, you good? Mig, you good?
I'm good now.
All right. That about wraps it up. If you've made it this far, the mic is turning off.